Does include audio.
Try mute.
I don't know. Jaden, should he?
Yeah, just for the beginning part.
Alright, yeah, mute. Wait, let me go mute you as well.
Welcome back to your Ramona Rams cast, and today we are with Jay and Wick. We have a special guest here with us today, none other than the defensive superstar, the potential defensive rookie of the year, Mr. Carter Hart. And we're gonna have two questions for him before we begin this game. Hart, I'm gonna start off. You know, you've had a great season so far. Obviously, you've been one of the most shining stars as far as freshmen in this league. Is this what you expected? And what's your plan for going forward?
I might, yeah. So it's definitely different than I expected. I didn't expect to have this much success and then, kind of fall off like that. So just gotta, get our head down and get back to work. And just keep going, keep putting the work in, and results will come. So yeah.
Hey Carter, we were told that you switched up the kind of music you were listening to here today, trying to get warmed up a little different, get hyped up a bit different for this game. What was that music choice that you switched to?
Yeah, well, usually I go with a little Juice WRLD action, but tonight I'm going with some calming relief. We're gonna hit some Minecraft music followed with the Backyardigans intro. So should be interesting one night. We'll see how it works.
All right, thanks, Carter. Have a good game out there.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
All right, Wick, we got a great one tonight. Obviously, two teams that are on two-game losing streaks. Ramona and SJB St. John Bosco. It's gonna be a big game. Obviously, we expect to see our boys perform as Kyron Jones gets the offense started here with a run over to Bo. He's gonna go off and he's going to get 3 yards there, and I believe that's Johnson there. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe that's Johnson there on the tackle. Yeah, what can you tell us so far about this St. John's defense? Obviously, they've taken some lumps this year, but yeah, what do you have to tell us so far?
Yeah, St. John's defense has had a great time getting into the opponent's backfield. Lots of tackles for losses, not so many sacks, but what their real weakness is they're not getting a lot of picks. They have 2 picks on this season, and they honestly just have to be better. This is not a great football team, although Ramona has struggled against some poor football teams. There's a bad overthrow there from Drones. But yeah, they got to get back on track here. They can't be dropping games to sub 500 teams.
Absolutely, and I think when you look at this game, this is a game they can turn around. But obviously, like we said, St. John's is a sneaky team. As we've already taken, a big throw there by Drones over to Davis. But yeah, as we've seen so far, obviously, 2 wins doesn't mean anything. We've seen teams walk into, our stadium, and we walk into their stadium, and destroy us. And well, maybe not destroy, but lose close games as Bo gets the rush there, and they get the first down, and they're on the 33-yard line. But obviously, we can't take anybody for granted. Everybody's a good team, and everybody deserves the equal amount. I've heard this week that we are going to be seeing some new defense this week, as we already saw a new offensive change last week, which we're going to see if that change, comes into fruition. We saw Drones throw a touchdown pass last week, which, ultimately they didn't win the game, but it's good to see that he's back on the right track. But yeah, I hope that this defense can show up, and as we already talked to Hart, we can see him get back into being the superstar that we've seen him be all beginning of the season.
And there's another tackle for loss. That one there from Baez Bop, his 7th TFL in the year. And yeah, this is an important game for Ramona and for the offense and defense as a whole, who's both struggled the past couple games. And Corrant with the catch there won't be enough. 4th and 3 here. Ramona's been known to go for it on these short yardage situations. We'll see if they send the offense back out or if the kick team comes.
I think you got to be smart. Like we said, this is a team that can be dangerous. You want to take points whenever you can. And I think that's what coach is thinking here. He's had some questionable mishaps the last few games. Obviously, the wide receiver screen, and obviously running the ball. Very questionable mistakes by the coach. and we're just hoping that we get a better game. Obviously, this team's gonna come out and compete. SJB, obviously, they want to win as much as we do. They've had a rough start, but I think they believe they're on the up just as much as we are, and it's gonna be good to see them as they get to the 27-yard line on their kick return. We're gonna come out. We're gonna see a pretty, promising sophomore QB in LaShawn Newton. What do you have to say on him?
Yeah, Newton struggled a little bit this season, as we can see here with the statistics. His touchdown to interception ratio is a bit rough. However, he's done his best with what he's got. 1,500 yards on the season, 81 overall rating, and also a rushing threat too, 242 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. However, 5 fumbles as he drops back into play action, and he'll take off here, and he'll be dropped at the line of scrimmage by Dello. And yeah, that's what you gotta watch out for him. A very two-way threat, and if you focus too much on one, he'll beat you the other way.
And here goes the monster himself, Will Cintron, who goes off for an 8-yard run. One of the things I guess you could say, obviously, about this St. John's Bosco offense, I believe, what was it, 27-0 against Corner Canyon last week. I don't believe they put up enough last week either, but you're hoping as an offense to start trending in the right direction. As we've seen, Newton does have that dual threat ability that we talked about that Drones has. We've seen, Cintron, who can run the ball, who can, make plays at unexpected times and things like that. But you gotta get them going, as we have to do with Bo, as they're gonna get ready to punt and get the ball back to Ramona. What a stop by the defense.
Yeah, not what you want there if you're St. John Bosco. You're trying to get back on track after losing 2 rough games straight, and to go 3-and-out on your first drive, and especially at the 4th and inches mark, it's hard. And out comes Kyron Burns again, 4th in the league in rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks, as you see there on the stat. And Drones has done it all this season. He's had some rough plays, some rough games, but when he's on his game, he's damn near unstoppable.
And I mean, you really could call him third, along with Sanders, and I believe that was Barlett. They both have 3 touchdowns on this, 3 rushing touchdowns, so he's really tied for third, which is impressive when you think about how impressive a QB he's been, as we said, as a freshman, as he finds one of his best targets, Corrant, there for 4 yards. I expect to see a lot more of passing, as we saw last week, as they go into trip stack. And it's another throw over to Corrant, who's just wide open, and he does get the first down. Mercado there, already 3 tackles. What are your keys to success for both of these teams? Obviously, starting with Bosco, both teams, obviously on 2-game losing streaks. Both teams need to win. What is your keys to success?
Bosco just has to get more consistent, and down goes Drones. Baez making himself known in this game. The TFL earlier, a big sack there. And that's what this St. John's Bosco team needs to do. They need to get more consistent at getting to the quarterback, as they have a lot of tackles for loss, not so many sacks, and they're getting beat through the air. Their corners haven't performed the greatest this season. And as far as Ramona goes, Ramona just has to stay consistent with getting a run game established to open up the pass game. They're a big play-action passing team, and if you're unable to establish that run, the play-action doesn't open, and then the offense stalls out as you get stuck behind the chains, and you're just trying to work yourself back. And a handoff here to Bo, and he'll be stopped at the line of scrimmage there. He'll gain 2. And it's going to be a 3rd and 18 here. Look for Drones to launch one deep like he's done all year.
We've seen him make plays like this. I believe it was 4th and 14 last week that he just comes up and makes a big play. And it looks like it's going to be a screen pass to Bo. Bo does beat one man. He gets a good tackle, but it's only a 7-yard play. And once again, these are the mistakes, or not mistakes, but the coaching mishaps you got to think of. 4th and 18, I guess, you want to be smart with the football and just not give up a big play, not give up a huge interception or anything like that, but you kind of expect him to be a little bit more aggressive there, as Bosco gets the ball back at the 20-yard line, and we're going to see Newton come back out here. Obviously, we didn't get a lot of chance to talk about them, but let's talk about how their running back out in the backfield, Cintron.
Yeah, Cintron's been this offense's main force. 535 yards on the ground with 6 touchdowns, only 1 fumble. He's been what's powered this offense. A big throw, and it's caught in a tight window. Michkov there with the tackle. But yeah, this is this offense. Cintron gets everything started, and when Cintron's going, it opens up the pass game, and it's the ability there, and a beautifully thrown pass in the tight window picks up a huge chunk of yardage. And Ramona's defense has given up a lot of those chunk plays recently.
Absolutely. I think when you are a team like Ramona who does have the ability, like you said, to rush the passer, which we haven't seen them do a lot recently, but they have the ability to rush the passer, and they have the ability to play deep, as they've done all season. You expect to see it more, but unfortunately, as Suck almost goes off sides, as you see recently, we just haven't seen as they go to Centron on the screen pass for 1 yard. It just hasn't been there defensively. The last couple weeks, we've seen players like Aiden Holloway walk in and play great. I mean, obviously he's a great quarterback, but walking in and playing great. And then last week, we saw, I believe it was Parker, came in for SJP. He just came in and, I mean, did whatever he wanted. So, you got to expect as a defense, you got to start to, not allow those big plays. We get another 3 and out, which is beautiful to see for Ramona. But you got to see more of that consistently if you want to start winning games, especially in the playoffs as they come around, and especially in these bigger games that are headed. As they have not only SJB this week, but next week they have another big test as well in Mater Dei.
Yeah, this offense here is getting the ball back to defense. Although they gave up that big chunk play, they've been solid here already, forcing them to put the ball away. And now Tyron Jones in this offense have to get going. He's been looking to Corrant a lot last game. Corrant had 8 catches for 82 yards last game, and he's looked at him a lot here today. And expect him to be involved, and look for Ryan Williams to get involved here. Wasn't very active last game, did see the ball a lot. He's not happy. He's a hungry guy. He loves seeing the football. Expect him to touch the ball a couple times here today.
Absolutely, you couldn't have said any better. I think, as you said, this offense has stalled a lot in the last couple of games. As you see a throw there to Davis to get the first down at the 27-yard line. Yeah, you've seen this offense stall, and you gotta hope that they can get a kickstart either, in the next coming weeks, because the defense can only hold for so long. As we've seen, they make stops, but not being able to get the ball in the end zone is gonna hurt your team, especially when you play, more and more competitive talent that can continue to score the ball at will. As they get a good pass there to Kimmel, breaks out the moves there. And they are at the 50-yard line as Hardigan was there on the tackle. And as far as the secondary for SJB, you kind of alluded to the fact that they haven't been as great. Is there any key players that kind of stick out to you as far as on this team?
Yeah, Willie Hardigan has been an excellent talent here. He's got a lot of TFLs, 2 deflections. He's been solid there. Then again, Jaden Mercado is a great throw there down to Keon Davis. And then also on this defense, Jaden Mercado, 8 tackles for loss, 6 pass deflections, and a fumble recovery. He's been the anchor that this defense has looked to, and that's a beautiful ball there to Keon Davis down the sideline, and that's going to put them down in the red zone with a good chance to put 7 on the board here for Ramona.
I think this is one of the keys to the game, as you said, scoring. But when you get to these points in the game, especially when you're this close to the end zone, you got to punch it in any way possible. They can try the run there, no gain. But yeah, you got to expect that this offense has to, come out with some fire. Not winning the last 2 games that you believe you should have won. This team could easily be a 6-1 team right now as they get it over to Williams, who goes out of bounds at the 3-yard line, and it's 3rd and 1 for Ramona. And I like how they're going to the pass. Obviously, you want to establish the run, but the run, if it's not going, you can't just force it. And I like how they're just trying new setups as they go back to the stack here. Corrant's wide open, and he is going to score to make this a 9-0 game pending this field goal, maybe 10-0. Beautiful drive. For
Devin Corrant, his 2nd touchdown of the day, or of the year, excuse me. And like I said, these last 2 games, he's been looked to. Ever since that offensive playbook change, Corrant has become the focal point of this passing attack, racking up catches, and now he's got a 2nd touchdown on the year. And that's big for Ramona. They've got a lot of guys who can go out there and make plays, and the big tight end, Devin Corrant, is pretty unstoppable if he gets going downfield. He reminds me of a Derrick Henry, except he's playing out at tight end. He will shove you off, he will stiff arm you, and he is going to catch the ball in a one-on-one scenario. Good to see him get on the board again.
It reminds me of early Ramona. Obviously, we saw him become a focal point, a young QB who just needed someone to throw the ball to, and there was Corrant with the easy throws. And as we see here, Newton is the best rushing QB. Obviously, you want to limit the fumbles and the turnovers for your team, but he is trying to make plays with his legs and his arm as well. As we're going back to Corrant, yeah, him being the focal point, I believe, is important, especially, not to say these receivers can't catch the ball, but having a tight end that can just be anywhere. And I think one of the things that makes him so great, as you said, stiff arming and knocking people down. He doesn't have the typical tight end build. When you look at him, he looks almost like a wide receiver out there. In the plays he makes, a Centron makes a couple man miss, and he gets to the first down on the 44-yard line for SJB. And I think it's interesting. One of the things I've seen from Centron, rocking the old school helmet kind of reminds me of Gale Sayers with the Bears a long time ago. But a very interesting helmet change. As there goes the throw there to, I believe, Williams for a 7-yard play. And it's 2nd and 3 for SJB. As far as these wide receivers, obviously this offense needs to get going, and you want to be able to get the ball, obviously running with Centron, but you got to pass the ball as well. And Centron goes again for another huge run at the first down. But yeah, as far as these running backs, what do you see as far as talent?
Yeah, Centron is one of the more talented running backs that we've seen Ramona face so far. He's been an absolute tank this season, and he's been excellent. He's been everything he needs to be, and as we've seen here today, 4 rushes for 30 yards. He's got big playability, and if you let him get hot, he will torch you. He'll run straight through you. The O-line is solid, good blocking from the O-line, plus his speed and talent is going to win games for this football team eventually. There's a big TFL there, and we're going to see 3rd and 6, and it's going to be a big play here. This could either put them into field goal range or knock them right out.
And I think on that TFL that was Carter Hart, and happy to see whatever music change he needs to make, it's working. I hope as we can hope to see him make more plays. There goes number 11 there, 1st and 10 for SJB. Nice little throw there. I mean, he's just sitting right there. No chance for Travers to really catch up. He just sits right in the set of the zone and just makes a good play, and I think that's what you need from your wide receivers.
Yeah, they're doing what they need to do. They're finding the open field, the screen there, and Carter Hart really seems to have woken up this game. His name hadn't been called a lot in the last couple of games. We've seen a lot of people disappointed in him losing ground in Defensive Rookie of the Year race, but he's been, so far this game, he's been noticeable again, and that's what you need from this defense, because he was the anchor point on this defense, a solid linebacker. He rushed the quarterback, pick off balls, play pass defense. He was everything they needed, and he kind of disappeared, and that's when this defense started to fall apart.
You couldn't have said any better as Newton drops back to pass, and he's going to have an easy walk-in touchdown, and that makes it a 6-10 game. John Williams, he was making plays earlier to get the first down, I believe, and there he is right there on the drag route. Moore kind of gets caught up there on Hart and Michkov a little bit, and it's just a walk-in touchdown for Williams. Kind of what you needed from it if you're SJB. You don't want to get put too far behind, especially a team like Ramona, because once they get going, obviously they don't look back for the most part. So yeah, big play there, way to step up. This defense shuts you out 2 times, and then you go kick them in the mouth, and you go down 10 plays, 72 yards, and you score a touchdown. Beautiful drive by St. John Bosco. Let's see how Ramona can respond.
That's a big touchdown in this game here, as especially if you don't get it there and you let Ramona go into half of 10-0 or even more. It's going to be tough to come back. Now they're only down by 3, but Ramona's got time here to drive down the field. We've seen Aaron Jones do it time and time again. He's been having a great day today. 12 for 13, 135 yards through the air and a touchdown. And we've seen him do it before. We could see him do it again. They got all 3 timeouts here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them drive down the field and at least pick up 3 as the run from Bo, and he's just shut down. He's had trouble getting going today.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest struggles with this offense sometimes, is just trying to get him going. I feel like the last 3 weeks we kind of talked about how Bo has yet to, really step up. I think he's still 6th in the league as far as rushing yards, but you got to expect more, as there goes Mercado again. 5 tackles already in this game, and another only 2-yard gain. 2-minute warning. I expect to see them trying to throw the ball this time with drones. And I think one of the things that stands out for me is, 12 for 13 passing, only 1 missed pass on the day. He's looking really sharp. He's making his reads. There goes the play action. And he's going to get sacked. I don't know. Who is that on the play? Number 57, 4th and 12. And I mean, here goes St. John's Bosco's chance to get right back in this game.
Yeah, St. John's Bosco's got a lot of time here, as this punt really isn't going to be able to travel that far. This is likely going to equal points, although it's a great punt, and they're going to get this ball thrown 30. And that might save points for Ramona there if they can shut it down. And then you can see Will Cintron's stats on the year. He averages over 5 yards a rush. He's been an absolute unit so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. And, you know, it kind of gives you flashbacks. And there goes a huge stop there. Mackey and, I don't know, I think that was Trappers there on the play on Williams, as he was trying to get open on the slant route. You know, your focus when you go into a week like this, especially playing a good running back as they did last week, as there goes the screen pass to Cintron. Hart's going to make a great play, but it's still going to be a 6-yard catch and run for Cintron as they have the ball with 1:25. Here's Newton on the hurry up. Back to number 11 out there on the hitch route, which is kind of killing these corners right now. They just can't seem to make a stop on a curl route at all. Oh, it's Newton throws the ball away, 2nd and 10. I mean, I guess they kind of give credit to Dukes there on the play on the outside. But yeah, as far as these two teams coming off 2-game losing streaks, it's hard to kind of get going as far as mentally because, you know, times are tough. It's rough playing back-to-back games, just expecting good results and just not getting it. I think on the Ramona side, it's been more, you know, heartbreaking last second of the game kind of plays. Comes down to the offense that can't make a play, and then more on the Bosco side, unfortunately, it's been just more of, you know, they kind of had no chance from the start, almost in a sense. As crucial and I mean as cruel as that sounds, but you know, two sides of a coin in a sense. But yeah, how do you kind of like flip the script and just, you know, try to come out there with a better mindset?
Yeah, it's all about just that hard work and grind. You got to just put your head down and keep working for it. A lot of teams will get in their own heads here, and an interesting no timeout call there for St. John Bosco is they'll step back and they'll throw the flat, and tackle's going to be made, and they might just settle for a field goal here with 5 seconds. It'll be a long one, but they line up for it. The kick will tie the game heading into the half. They need it bad. Here's the snap. The kick is up. It's good as we have a tie game. 1 second left here for Ramona. They'll likely take a knee or just run this half out, and we'll see in the second half I mean, this game has been close, and like we said before this game, St. John's Bosco is a sneaky good team, and they've got good players. They just got to find a way to string it together. But here it looks like Kyron Drones might go out and do a pass here. They have 3 wide, and he's going to drop back. They're looking for blood. Drones is brought down again. 3rd sack of the game. And St. John's Bosco going to make the defensive stop here to end the half. And we go in tied 10-10.
And yeah, coming out of half, interesting play there. I think they were trying to do what they did 2 weeks ago against Viejo, where they kind of got a lucky DPI call, and they got the quick 3. Unfortunately, didn't work this time, as we're gonna see St. John's Bosco's offense come right back out, and obviously you score on consecutive drives back to back. You make a play right before half. You know, you got to be feeling good as Newton's going to get ready under center. He's going to hand the ball off to Cintron, and he's going to go for 5 yards there. Beautiful play. It was a little pulling guard. And, you know, they're doing this exactly what you're supposed to do as a team that, you know, wants to establish a run with a great running back in the backfield. They run the ball. They're setting up the passes. Here goes Newton with the pass. He's out, and there's a first down.
Yeah, but
to De Silva.
Going back to that run play, that's exactly the type of talent that you're getting from Will Cintron, as that was incredibly crowded and mucked up, and he just finds a way. He's got great vision, and he's absolutely stood up there by Matvey Michkov on the tackle, laying the hammer. But yeah, he's got that vision where he's able to just slide through people and pick up yardage where it seems like any other running back is going to go down for a loss. And there he goes, blows by Michkov with the tackle again, or is that Trappers on that side? And there's the ability again of just being able to blow by your opponent with your vision.
Yeah, and obviously, this is kind of the point where you expect the Ramona defense to step up. They kind of step up crucial, and Hart, Newton outruns Hart. He slides, and he gets an 8-yard play there. 2nd and 2 for Bosco, and they are heating up.
And this is worrying watching Ramona's defense. They've not been able to stop anything on this drive since the come of the second half. The play action, it's a good catch there. But he's tackled on the catch. Williams with 5 catches for 61 yards on the day. And watch out, Ramona. St. John Bosco is rolling right now. They're going to need the offense to come out, or the defense to get a big stop right here. At least hold them to 3 to give their offense a chance. There he goes, the number 1 rushing quarterback in the league. He's going to be stood up, but he's going to get there. The strength in the legs. And like we said, he's a dual threat quarterback. You get too focused on defending that pass, he's just going to run it right by you and pick up yards. LaShawn Newton with a great run there.
Absolutely, and he's going to throw, and he's going to get a touchdown. An easy touchdown for Wilson there. Jakari Wilson, basically untouched, unguarded. It looks like he just kind of found the seam in the zone, and it's a beautiful place throw by Newton, and they're going to go up 16-10, 17, barring this extra point try. But yeah, when you look at it, that's 3 straight drives now for Bosco. That's beautiful. Obviously, you're at home. You kind of get a boost. And you just want to win a game, especially, coming in 2-5. And then especially seeing a team that is, high hopes, 4-3. Obviously, you want to come out there and just perform your best and, hopefully beat them on any given day. And right now, they're showing the heart and they're showing the grit that they have.
Yeah, and for Jakari Wilson, that's his first touchdown of the season. He's been trying to get that one. We know how bad he wanted to get it. And he'll finally break free and get it here in week 8. And that's a weight off the shoulder there for a young wide receiver trying to generate and make a name for himself out here.
Absolutely. And here goes Drones under center this time. It looks like they're going to go outside run here to Bo. Bo is going to pick up 9 yards there before he's met by Black, I believe, number 69. A quick run play to start off this offensive drive, and if you're Ramona, you have to answer back. The pressure's on you, and Drones, I believe, feels it. He's got to be better as they go for jet sweep, and then they go over to the running back. Truly swallowed up right there, and it's going to be 3rd and 3. Grubbs on the play, beautiful play, and here goes Drones back in the shotgun. He's going to run the ball. It's going to be a draw play, beautiful play, and there goes Bo waking up a little bit. Showing Centron that he's not the only running back in this game. And that's what you want from Bo. You want him to see him just, as you see, as soon as he cleared that first level, it's just nothing but room. And then he shift arms a player, and he gets down. Obviously, that's what you want to see. I think that was Mercado, too, of all people, who's been making plays all day. You want to see that from your running back.
Yeah, Anton Bo has had a kind of hot and cold season. He's got 470 yards on the year, but with 6 touchdowns and only 1 fumble. He's been consistent when he gets going. The problem is, it's either it feels like he's rushing for like a yard per carry, or he's going for 5 per carry, and it's hard to see where things are going wrong for him. Some of it may be play calling, and there's an offsides here, and Baez Bop, who's had his name all over this game, getting the 5-yard encroachment penalty, and Ramona going to make their way over half field here. And yeah, but it's just important here for Ramona to even this score up, as we've seen what happens when they get behind. They struggle to make these comebacks.
Absolutely, and this is a game you don't want to get out of hand. This is a game you want to keep close and try to fight out and get a win here. And this is a game you desperately need. Going from a team that started off 4-1 and now losing 3 straight, not the way you want to go about things right now. This is a crucial game for them. As Drone's gonna throw the ball at the knees of Bo there. 3rd and 9. They're not in field goal range. Hopefully they can try to make a play here, but this Bosco defense has been pretty stingy here on, stopping. And there goes a play there to Ryan Williams, who unfortunately was out of bounds. Hard again, beautiful coverage there. And it looks like it's going to be a Ramona punt. Oh, no, they do bring out the kicking team. Pretty deep kick here. And the kick is up. and it is good. So we have a 13-17 ball game. Bosco has a lot of momentum here, and they could score again. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to say that is a fantastic kick, a big one. Barely sneaks it over the crossbar, but yeah, this defense has to tighten up the gaps on the run game, and that's what's been killing them. They get burnt on the run, and then once they're ahead of the chains, you're free will to do anything. When Cintron's picking up 5 yards, you're in 2nd and 5 territory. You can run the ball again, you can throw the ball in. They just got to keep them on or behind schedule. Keep that run to 3 yards. Keep it behind the line of scrimmage. Get to the quarterback. They haven't gotten there to him yet today. Big throw over the middle, and that's the problem. Everything is beating this Ramona defense as of late. The pass game, they've struggled. The run game, they've struggled. They have not been able to stop anything, and it's shocked to remember and think back to weeks 1, 2, and 3 of Ramona, who just shut it down, and a quarterback draw. Goes for 15, and he stood up there by Michkov eventually. But, I mean, they're just getting ran over, passed over, and everything. Michkov talked a little smack there to LaShawn Newton, but you can't be doing that. He's kicking you when you're down right now. And a deep ball with a one-handed grab shoves off there and just burning him in the pass game. St. John Bosco has been heated up here in half.
Absolutely, and the thing that's kind of shocking me is they haven't even given the ball their star running back yet. As they get a stop there on number 11, the Ruckus there with a great stop, 2nd and 10 on the wide receiver screen. But yeah, no, they haven't even given the ball to their running back. They just came out and just immediately Newton has just turned this game over, and it's been amazing to see. I mean, he's showing up. This is what you kind of expected to see from him earlier in the season, but he's showing now, he can show up and he can play. I believe now, is that, 2 touchdown passes he has today?
Yeah, I believe he's thrown 2 touchdown passes, and it's rough to see that this is the way that Ramona's defense has collapsed, and there's a struggle there. The check down throw, and he'll run backwards towards his line and get tackled there, only giving up 3 yards in what could have been another first down in this passing game. They really got to lock it down here and hold it to 3 to give their offense a chance to go back down and tie this game.
Yeah, like you said, he now has 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Obviously the turnover problems have been a problem, but he's making this team, willing this team, to a chance at beating a very, very, very good Ramona team. And it's 13-17 after that first down catch from Wilson, and we are getting ready to start up the 4th quarter.
Yeah, this right here, like we said, a big drive. It's going to be 1st and goal coming out here from 9. Ramona needs this stand to hold them to 3 to stay alive really in this game, as when they get stuck behind multiple scores, they find it hard to come back. And dropping back here, the throw is swatted away there by, I believe that's Gio Love there with the swat. And like we said, 2nd and goal here, they need to stop.
Absolutely, and this is where you kind of expect this defense to step up. Right there, Michkov gets a little ran over, but the team comes and helps him out there. It's a big tackle, and this is where the defense steps up. We've seen them make goal line stands multiple times over and over again. I mean, this is the one they need. The offense is counting on him, and Newton, I mean, everybody kind of stands still and watch Newton just walk through. It's almost like we're watching Sports Center. Newton, that is now 3 total touchdowns for him. It's first rushing of the game. And, he's showing why he's one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah, the best rushing quarterback in this league. Packs on his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day. And it's killing him. I mean, everyone just kind of sat there in amazement, realizing, like, you going to go get him? Am I going to go get him? And at the end of the day, nobody ends up moving. And Ramona's going to go down 11 here. And it's going to be a hard way to get back, but if there is a team that can do it, Ramona's got the talent. They just have to get it going, and this offense really has to show out, and the defense is going to have to make a critical stop here on the next drive.
Absolutely. They're going to need to wake up, especially on offense. They're going to need, as that's not going to – oh, they do get to the 20-yard line, forward progress. But, yeah, they're going to need to not only score, but score quick. Obviously, you can't give all the time in the world to Bosco, who has, outshines you in offensive yards. It's almost like the flip has been scripted ever since about the second closing of the second quarter when we were seeing Bosco get held to basically no gain punts, and now we're kind of seeing the opposite where it's Bosco that's consistently scoring and it's Ramona that's failing to put anything up. As we see Drones make a read here, it's gonna go to the wide receiver screen and it's just not there. It's a big stop there at number 20. Second and 13 on the 30-yard line. Ramona's got to be better. They got to make a play. That's what it comes down to. Obviously, they're going to go. Looks empty. Empty goes out to Corrant. Corrant gets him a couple yards, but it's still 3rd and 7. Interesting to see what the coach draws up here. He's had some questionable play calls, but we'll see what he does right here. Should be passed, but we'll see. And he does. And it is a pick for Kyron Drones that he does stop from becoming 6, but it's something, DC Major. Big play there by him. He made the play on the wide receiver screen, and he now has the pick to go with it. Drones, terrible mistake.
For Drones, that's his 5th pick of the season, and a big play there. Throws it into double coverage on Kimmel, and that might seal this game here as they're down in the red zone within the 5-yard line. LaShawn Newton going to lead his team out here to try and put this game away.
Yeah, if you're Ramona, you got to kind of think, well, what can we do better? We tried new offense. We tried a new offensive playbook. We tried a new defensive playbook. It seems neither of those things have really worked for this team so far. And coming in 4-4, you can't really risk any more losses if you really want to still try to make a competitive run. As Newton's going to take off, it's going to be a tackle there combined with Suck and Ruckus at the 4-yard line for Ramona, and we're going to see if they can make a stand.
Yeah, a big stop here is going to be needed. If they can hold them to 3, which it looks like they might not, but they get the tackle there. Matt Van Meechkov has had his fingerprints all over this defense today, making lots of critical tackles. They need this stop here. That would keep it to 14 points, a 2-score game, but if they give the touchdown up here, this game's as good as over.
Absolutely, couldn't have said any better. As Newton's going to step up, and it is going to be a touchdown, and maybe murder she wrote for Ramona, as that is the 2nd rushing touchdown for Newton. He has 2 rushing, 2 passing, and for a team, like you said, coming off of 2 losing streaks, you come at home, you come against a really, really good Ramona team, and you make a huge statement in the game that they're showing right now. At this point, it's time to start talking about what's the next steps for Ramona in this. They got a big stretch of games coming up. They gotta wake up.
Yeah, Ramona has just struggled immensely these last 3 games, and it's not even against teams that people say they should be struggling against. It's all these teams. You look at they going against a team that's 0-4, they drop it. 1-4, drop it. Now 2-5, and they look like they're going to drop it, barring a miracle here. And it's not good enough for the standard they set for themselves at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely, and some may say it's honestly a commentator curse. The last 3 games we commentated, we've lost. So, it's gotten to a point as there goes Davis out there on the sideline. He hits a first down catch, and interesting, the clock still runs, but. Here's Drones. He's going to drop back, obviously coming out after a crucial interception. He's going to find Corrant. Corrant needs to at least try to get out of bounds there. Doesn't. After a crucial interception, Drones, who was having a decent game to start off, just lets the wheels fall off. And, what can we see from Drones, and what can he do better as far as, next steps in being, this franchise QB and, the leader of this team?
Yeah, as far as Drones, he's got the talent. He's clearly a very talented kid. He's got to learn to make the read, make the smart throw. We've seen it. Most of his picks come from him trying to force a play that isn't exactly there. And, that comes with time for a quarterback. It takes a while to learn.
I mean, you look at Peyton Manning's rookie year, lots of interceptions, and we see where he ended up. So I don't think it's fair to maybe for the people that are starting to write off Kyron Drones here already, but he's going to have to start, learning to make those reads, and gaining this experience is good for him. And as much as it sucks to see the losing as a team, this is an important step in an up-and-coming program. He's got to learn to make these mistakes now before he's getting to his junior, senior year, where it's going to be more evident and more important that he knows those details of his game.
Absolutely, and now we kind of see Ramona driving. I mean, unfortunately, they're wasting so much time off this clock, which is pretty concerning. There goes Bo there. He's going to get an 8-yard run there. They got to get back to the line. They got to score quick. At this point, you're going to need an onside kick, another stop on defense, and I mean, you only have really 3 timeouts. So we'll see what they do here. As there goes Corrant, open again. It's a 1st and 10. He has 10 catches for 69 yards, which we expected, as far as him becoming the focal point of this offense. And it's another pick for Drones to Johnson. Johnson is going to take it out to the 21-yard line and out. John Johnson, the third. Huge pick. As if the steal wasn't already there. I mean, huge one-handed grab there by him. Drones just kind of forced it for absolutely no reason. It looked like he was looking for Corrant. Just got a little too greedy and... two-hand catch. But got a little too greedy there and gives up another pick. And at this point, Bosco can go ahead and just run this game out.
Yeah, it's almost a tale of 2 quarterbacks here. We came in talking about the one quarterback with a lot of talent, a lot of promise, and the other one with the turnover problem. And, well, they seem to have flipped roles here as Drones throwing 2 picks. LaShawn Newton having a fantastic game with 2 through the air, 2 on the ground, and just a rough watch for anyone rooting here for Ramona and a QB drill there. He'll get tackled there down, but just not a great game from Ramona all around. Turnovers don't help, but the defense also, getting ran through like a wet paper towel, and it's a rough game to watch all around. It's been exactly like this the last 3 games. They just haven't been able to find their ground.
Absolutely not. Central gets down, it's 31 at the 30-yard line. I mean, it's like you said, like the roles are flipped, and the team looks just off. I gotta give my hat off to St. John Bosco, who many people have already looked at them as probably one of the worst teams in the league, and you come in here, you beat a team like this. This not only gives you momentum for next game, but for the rest of your season. Your quarterback finally wakes up. He's finally making great plays. He throws for a 4-touchdown game. He throws for 2 touchdowns, rushes for 2. You get Jakari Wilson, who scores his first touchdown. You still got Centron, who's going to be elite. And, something like this will not only boost your team morale, but, it's going to boost just everything as far as the momentum, as far as your gameplay. You expect this Bosco team to probably, go on to win some games now. Hopefully they've gotten out of their rut and they continue to win games. So credit to them, hats off to them. A beautiful football game by St. John Bosco, taking down Ramona, winning a game, and beautiful. Tough loss for Ramona, beautiful game for St. John Bosco. Tale of can't have 2 turnovers and win a game.
Yeah, it's a great game to get back on track here for St. John Bosco. As people counting them out, they're 3-5. They can easily go on a run here. And for Ramona, they've got some inner looking to do here. Their bye week coming up soon, but not soon enough. They really need to get regrouped here. They've lost now 3 straight games, and for a team that looked like they were going to be a playoff lock this season, now their chances starting to reach jeopardy. Next week's game is going to be a big teller here against Matervey. They're going to need to win that game if they want to get their season back on track, and that's a tough opponent to beat, especially an in-division game. But it's going to be necessary here as St. John Bosco will take down the Ramona Rams 31-13.
Absolutely, and that's for Jay Wick. That's it for us tonight. As we said, great game. Signing off. See you, fellas.